What's up, fam? It's the beginning of the new week for me. Yeah, I know. It's Wednesday. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? These things happen, right? But as you can see, like my face, it's probably a good representation of the Eight of Wands that I have here. And one of the big significances that are coming out on this card is Mercury and Chiron, which leads me to believe that a lot of people are still going through it. They're kind of reveling over their wounds, or a sense, or reveling over their fears, or possibly even their fear of opportunity, abundance, success is what I'm also getting here. One of the first things that I hear that comes up is don't be afraid, because again, Mercury's coming out here. So if Mercury's kicking your ass, or you're having a problem with communication, or you're having a problem communicating, things seem a little jumbled, screwed up, confused, delayed, and stuff like that, you're in a transformation period is what Spirit is saying here. And I think it's important for you to focus on what is truly abundant for you, what gives you life, joy, happiness, what brings passion or inspiration, motivation, ideas, all those things, and follow through with them. Because if you're not following through with the ideas that are coming up and you're sitting there being pessimistic or double thinking or overthinking them, they're just flying away. You know what I'm saying? And I think what the Virgo energy in this card actually represents is the grounded transformation, the grounded appearance and awareness of these things that are happening in our life, especially when it comes to communication, us communicating with the divine, communicating with ourselves, other people, and with our environment, right? Because it's an overall communication, it's an overall connection. You are everything and everything is you. You are God and God is everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically a universal understanding that you are connected to everything. And I believe a lot of you are seeing these things indicate that you are connected around you, right? But I feel like there's also a structured balance that needs to be had or is happening right now inside the collective. A lot of people are figuring it out, kind of wondering what the next step is, or looking forward to the next step, or whatever the doorway or the opportunity is bringing towards each and every one of you. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you're swimming in your emotions, whether you realize your emotions are not something you want to swim in, this is kind of like the give and take of what's going on right here. And then also the alignment or the balance that is associated with the give and take and what you're actually putting effort into. You know what I'm saying? But you also have the structure and the discipline of Saturn, and then the karmic effect and the karmic wheels and the karmic cycles that are closing out consistently in everybody's lives based on their chart, right? So if you feel like Saturn's kicking your ass with karma right now, this is also an observation space where you need to realize that it's time to, to change something, to do something different, to realize that change is here, change is near, and it's always a constant, right? So we need to be also more of acceptance of the fact that things change within a moment. And having expectations or planning will create that expectation to upset you even more when it doesn't happen the way that you actually thought it was going to happen. And I think that's very important here, because I also have soulmate energy, Two of Cups, but it's also two's mind balancing of things that are coming on. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that even in the deepest, darkest depths of the water, that's not something that you cannot manage, right? It's not over. You're not finished yet. These type of things might come up where there's sadness, depression, anxiety, fear, overthinking. Pick one on the scale and you probably can experience some of it. You know what I'm saying? Or think about it, or experience it because you're thinking about it, or having a past memory coming up causing you to think about it even more. And that's what Chiron represents, the wounded healer, the wounds. You know what I'm saying? The vulnerability that comes up in a fucking moment where we feel almost infantile, childlike, or we feel like we're fucking exposed. You know what I'm saying? These are moments where we lock up, and our self-defense mechanisms or our survival mechanisms are literally coming out in that moment. So you know what I'm saying? If you're freaking out about anything today and hereafter, just remember that most likely is an overreaction to what's happening, especially with the planetary energies that are associated with here. Either you're swimming in emotions or you're wondering what to do is what Spirit is saying. And I also have the Sun card, right? Which is pretty much the best card in the fucking deck. You know what I'm saying? But the Sun reminds me of enlightenment, when things are shed light upon to show you where toxicity or shadow aspects of ourselves may lay. You know what I'm saying? Where work, discipline, hard work, commitment also need to be had. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you got a prophecy that you're trying to follow. Maybe a prophecy is already something that you're following. Maybe you are associated with a prophecy of some sort. But you also remember contracts are written for a reason, fam. We're souls in the body, and we intend to come here with a certain set of goals or succession that we would like to create in this lifetime, right? And that's the balance and the effort that comes in. And I'm also seeing the Tau cross, but it's upside down. I feel like there's also a lack of belief here, fam. A lack of trust, a lack of faith. And all these things are being exposed, is what they just said. You know what I'm saying? So that way you could see your higher self, or the version of you that is more pleasurable and understandable, not only to your community, to the people outside yourself, but yourself, because now you're not trained to be so rigid. You understand what's going on. You're feeling kind of like a transition or a fluid movement of how things move with your thoughts, how you manifest them, how we have a tendency to overthink things. What am I going to do about this? How am I going to do that? Da, 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 da. Planning. A lot of these things are coming from a survival space, fam. You know, we thought that these things actually served us at one point in time, but I feel like planning is kind of out the door, because you don't know what's happening tomorrow, and your astrology is a key and insight to that aspect of yourself that lets you know, hey, dude, I'm going through this, I'm in this cycle, da 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 da. We have these services available on the website, and we can go through them through and through, is what Spirit said, to help you understand where you're at in all this, if not all this. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important for you to kind of like write down, point out, pick apart the things that are ailing you, the things that are coming up right now, and maybe even realizing that they're not even yours in the first place, and you might be feeling somebody outside yourself, or something outside of yourself that is trying to call your attention and bring your focus elsewhere than what's happening right here. You know what I'm saying? And I have the crown on the high priestess, you know, but it's also emotional water energy, right? So what are you dealing with? What is it that you're letting overpower you? What is it that you're letting dominate you? What is it that you're letting boundaries kind of like solidify you and put you in a box somehow? What is your limited thinking behaviors that are coming up right now, especially with Chiron out? And how does that limit your ability to succeed? Are you distracted? Do you need to apply more focus? Do you need more discipline? Do you need to commit more? Do you need to trust more? Do you need to love more? All these things are coming out, is what they just said. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you need to pay attention to your prism, or, you know, possibly the even bubble that you live in, and look at the lack of self-belief and understanding in that space, especially when the emotional waters and the moon of Scorpio come out, dude, because this is all coming out, okay? And if you're a water sign, pay attention to your Scorpio moon, because I believe the Scorpio moon is really intense. It is intense for myself as a Pisces, but I've seen other people outside of myself, even other Scorpios, and people react to these type of moons, especially when it's a full moon of fire and water, in a sense, right? And this kind of reminds me of the steam. I actually saw a song that says "Into the Steam" this morning, and this is what is rising right now. It's the steam. It's the shit that doesn't really serve you if it builds up too much and it creates a fog, and then you won't be able to see anything. And this is what spiritual discipline is associated with, right? So a lot of us need to understand we're on a new journey, a new way of looking at things, a new way of understanding things, and be more open up to the new ways of what doing things actually means, and being more open to what it actually represents, because the universe provides, right? So it means with step by step, every step that you take, the universe will match you in one way or another, or she will mirror you, she will reflect you, and she will help you understand these things in one way or another. Yes, I said she, okay? It happens. She, he, whichever way you want to look at it, the creator is key here, and that's what I'm being told. That's what's being heard here. And the phases and the cycles and moons are going to bring that clarity for each and every one of you. Okay? The Sun card, the Ace of Swords, clarity, enlightenment, discipline, commitment, what feels good without greedy, selfish behavior, what feels good by being open, what feels good by being honest, what feels good by allowing the crown to permeate the atmosphere and receive. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is near is what I also hear. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something that we need to take lightly, right? Because the flow of consciousness, the flow of the universe is asking us to decide and make choices in every fucking moment, regardless of how minuscule you'll see them to be. And when I say minuscule, don't take the shit for fucking granted, because you're missing out on an opportunity to take something with grace, with compassion, with humility, with humbleness, with patience, you know, with penitence. Observe. Don't react. Observe. Respond. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us might be acting like a bunch of fucking wounded animals right now and just lashing out at everything because we want to bite the corner because it looks chewy. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that. You know, we want to focus on our goals. We want to focus on our ambition. We want to focus on what's right for us, right? On what we intuitively feel deep down in the gut space, or possibly in the heart space, that says, no, don't do that or do that, right? This is discernment. This is intuition. These are all the beautiful things that happen when we absorb these type of behaviors, this type of astrology, or this type of energy, right? And each and every one of you have a part to play, because you're all in a transition space. New beginnings. New year, we're in the spring, fam. You know what I'm saying? Don't take shit personal right now is what I'm being told. Because this is all giving you an opportunity. Regardless of which way you see this, this is an opportunity for you to see it correctly. Much love to each and every one of you, fam. Hang in there, stay in there, and stay tuned for another message tomorrow on Here or Thereafter. You know, kind of like giving you a weekly or collective update on maybe how to navigate this shit. If you have questions or you have concerns, or just reach out to us on fourcornershealing37.com. If you feel like these readings would benefit you for some reason and you want to be on a private one-on-one space, you can book a Sacred Soul Council with us, and we'd be more than happy to help you navigate these energies and better understand where you're being guided, what your purpose, place, and path is. Salah, much love to each and every one of you. Stay beautiful and blessed, fam. Take care. Peace.